I'm a physical therapist, but as Flori was reading from my bio, I do work with cancer survivors. And I was sort of fearful of working with this population because I felt like, cancer and dying were sort of equitable. I'm a very emotional person, and I thought I wouldn't be able to handle it. But actually, cancer survivors are in your communities. They're living 20 to 50 years after their diagnosis. It's no longer a death sentence, and I'm helping them improve their quality of life. But in my involvement with oncology care, I am involved with palliative care and end-of-life care as well. And so that's, I think, a lot of times where people turn to their faith or their spirituality even stronger in those times. And so that's where I think I started to collaborate with more people in my community to help with this stage of people's lives. So that's sort of the beginning. But I also do, as Flori was saying, I do research in self-efficacy. So self-efficacy is your self-confidence with, I might have activated someone's Siri. Self-efficacy is your self-confidence to do things, right? One of the main things I started with was low back pain. Everybody has low back pain, right? And then they get better, and then it comes back again. Then it gets worse and it gets better, right? It's one of the things that keeps me in business a little bit, right? But I wanna improve people's self-confidence with recovering on their own and maybe even preventing their back pain from coming back. So I started to build a lot of large research into not just giving the right exercise or making people move more. If you've heard me talk before, I always say there's lotion in the motion. I always try to keep people moving so that your joints and everything, especially your back, stays very mobile, right? So I realized that very quickly that my effectiveness comes from educating my patients and giving them the confidence in taking care of themselves and not depending on me. And so I think that happens a lot with faith and spirituality is you're trying to give your communities the confidence to have the strength within themselves, the resilience within themselves to overcome a lot of things with their faith and building on strength from their faith and their spirituality. So I was invited here because wellness is in the title and well-being is in the title. And I think I am, as a physical therapist, everybody comes to me for physical well-being, but I do feel like I'm a provider of emotional well-being. And as Flori was also saying, I realize that I need to include the whole patient's picture in my treatments. And that includes their faith and their spirituality and their background in that sense, right? I think that was something early on, I'm going to avoid religion and politics because that always sometimes goes the wrong direction when I start those conversations with my patients, but I realize now actually that it makes it so much stronger. It makes me so much more effective in bringing up their confidence in me and myself in them. So I wanted to do a little activity because I didn't want to, I've done a PowerPoint before. There is literature out there showing that faith-based communities are one of the most influential with many things, but especially physical well-being, right? We actually can depend more on our faith-based communities to drive more physical wellness because the physical wellness drives more emotional wellness and more spiritual wellness. So whenever I think about this, I think about the game Jenga. Have you guys played Jenga before, right? So who of you all has a number 1 on your little paper that I gave you? All right, raise your hands high so I can pass you some. So I'll give you these special Jenga codes. All right, I'll give you these 3. And then if you can come to the front of the room with these 3 Jenga pieces, if you have a number 1. Anyone else over here? Oh, awesome. I'm gonna make you stand up and move, so that's why your pens and... Sorry, the cameraman's I'm gonna keep you busy. All right. Keep my notes on the side. Where can I put this? I'll put it on the chair. All right, so first of all, we start with the community, right? These are a couple communities, a couple of your neighborhoods, a couple of the places that you work and that you have associations with, that you have friends with, you might even have family in these communities, right? And you're the leaders. You all had number one, right? So you're familiar with the game Jenga. Aren't two of you to set? No, you're not? Well, these three will help you. And I will help you as well. So in these two communities, I want you to build the base. Because you are all, I know you're all up front and you're on top of your communities. A lot of people look up to you. But actually, you all build the base. So that's why a very important reason about why you need to think about yourselves and your self-care. So go ahead. First two people, one person here, lay down the first beginning of the base. Awesome. And then I'll have the second layer. So the second layer could go in a different direction. It could go the same direction. I'll leave it up to you.
It has to go on top.
It has to go on top. All right, and you can have a seat. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I messed up everybody's work.
I like that. You're working toward perfection, right? We always want to have a good, strong base. So on your papers, it says wellness equals on the very top of there. Take a moment to think about what wellness means to you, because you are all creating the basis for your community. What does wellness mean to you? One part of it might be physical. What kinds of things define wellness for you?
You want to hear them?
You can call out some, or you can write them down too, because I want you to take this home with you too. So what defines wellness for you?
Yeah, I think happiness is a component.
Happiness, I love that. What else?
Healthy connection with God.
Healthy connection with God. Connections are great.
Not only surviving, but thriving.
Thriving, that means wellness for you. That's awesome. And for maybe many of you are nodding your heads like this might be familiar to you as well. Holistically healthy. How do we be holistically healthy? We have to consider all aspects of that holisticness. I love that you're thinking about big picture, right? I hope some of you have some physical wellness in there too, right? Are you taking care of your own health? Have you gone for your regular checkups, right?
I'd say integrity.
Integrity. Because integrity builds trust, right? Trust in you, trust amongst your community as well. I love that.
I'd say a clear mind and a clear body, and I would translate clear body as the way I feel when I'm in a fasted state. So when I'm in a fasted state, I can tell when my body, like when my blood is pure, like I just feel anchored and strengthened. That
Awesome.
Plus my connection with God. Yeah.
Awesome. That clearness helps you create all these other connections, right? It helps you love, helps you feel happy, helps you feel connected with other people. Awesome. I love that.
Balance.
Balance.
Overloaded in different places, and sometimes you just need to achieve that. Just being able to handle it all.
Yeah, balance is an interesting concept, right? It's not always, it doesn't mean that everything has to be 50-50 all the time, though, right? Sometimes they're 60-40, but then the other time of the day, maybe even week, maybe even month, it might be 60-40 the other way. But in the big picture, everything is balanced, right? So I think if we are always looking for the perfect picture or the perfect 50-50, sometimes we might overwhelm ourselves, right? So we have one base that might look really perfect and one that might be a little challenged, because actually this, if you look at it, it has an uneven surface. So it's harder to build a very strong base, but it's still going to be a base, right? It's still the bottom of our Jenga game there. Did you have a comment over here?
Oh, I just wanted to say boundaries, I think, are important between work and personal life and, a number of different areas.
Boundaries, I love that. So that you have the capacity to be able to do what you need to do. If you have, it's nice to have boundless love and being able to have an influence amongst a larger community, but you do have to have boundaries to make sure that you can be effective. One more comment over here.
Joy. The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Joy, I love that. I love that. So maybe by calling out these ideas, you've added to your list, because wellness shouldn't be based on just one thing, but wellness can be driven from when one thing's not really working out, another thing can bring you joy and wellness and well-being, okay? So I'm here to talk a little bit about the physical, but I want you to always be thinking about the big picture. Now, the next word on there is your community. So what is your community like, right? Because we can build strength on our community as well, right? We're not alone in this world, especially in faith-based communities. I love that. I think that's a natural place that you can feel that there's more than just you in the world. And when you don't have these communities around you, that makes it very difficult for me to make change, right? And when I'm trying to have somebody make a physical change, like to better care for their low back, it's very hard if they do that in isolation, right? So think about your community. It might be your church, but I came a little early. I came actually an hour early. I got here at 9. I went for a walk around. I did my 30-minute walk this morning because I had the time. So I got to see what's going on. I didn't know that Target and Trader Joe's and CVS and Big Lots are all in that area. But it's interesting what kind of people were coming into the parking lot as I was walking around for 30 minutes around there and kind of brainstorming on more ideas of what we could talk about here today. So think about your community. If you went on a walk around your congregation, around your church, around your community, around your personal neighborhood, what kind of people or what kind of things do you see in your neighborhood? And that might go ahead and jot those down. And we're thinking about connections. So I'll give you another minute to write those down. And now that we also live in this virtual world, right? We're recording this maybe for future reflection even. Think even of your virtual connections outside your physical communities. So that's these trays. You're describing the trays in this Jenga game here, right? And we had some of our identified leaders build a base within these communities. And these bases are weight-bearing. They're going to be weight-bearing. They're going to be carrying the load of what we're going to stack on top of it, right? That might feel very heavy for you all, but you're in a community, and you can draw from that community. So one of the myths is that I can't put onto you to share with your people that listen to you to do physical exercise because you're not exercise specialists. You're not. I am connecting with your Siri very well. You're not physical therapists. You're not personal trainers, right? So you might not have the confidence, right, in telling your communities to be more physically active. But it just takes little steps, and we'll share some ideas here today. But look at your community. Are there physical therapists amongst your congregations or amongst your communities? Have you asked? Yes. There's probably personal trainers within your communities. So even though you may be the load, the weight-bearing portion of it and the stability that people are coming to in your community, draw on your community. So that's why I'm saying don't forget to recognize who's around you and to draw on their strengths. All right, who has a number 2 or a number 3? Let's have the 2s come up first. All right, 2s. All right, I want to start with you 2. We're going to do a little bit of exercise, and if you want to, anyone else in the room can join us as well. So we're going to do what's called a sunrise salute. So you're going to press your hands together, feel a little bit of pressure through your hands, feel your muscles engage, feel how that changes your posture. Now you have your 2 feet flat and kind of nice. Now everyone that's sitting, maybe even put your feet flat. Does that give you even a little bit more strength? Right, good, push those hands together. Now relax that pressure. Good, now push that pressure together again. Good, do you feel that engage different muscles in your body as you relax and contract? Now relax again. Now push again, good. And now push those hands together as you rise that up. Rise that up. See if you can maintain that, pushing your head together. Good. Now turn your palms away. Awesome. And then bring it all the way in a big circle down by your side. As big of a circle as you feel like you can. Good. Everyone have space. Awesome. We're going to do that again. Push those hands together. Raise it up above your head. Good. So I was only talking to 2 people in the room, but look, everyone is doing it because we all have such a powerful influence. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love how it's waking everyone up, right? So even by not paying attention to the rest of you all, I still got you all engaged, partly because I'm standing up here talking really loud. All right. So since you all led everyone, I'm going to give you 3 to build on either one of these 2 communities. Awesome, but stay up here. So creative, I love it. All right, now the other 2 pair, we're gonna do a little bit more of a whole body exercise. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna stand nice and tall. Good, I want you to picture your ears right over your shoulders, right over your hips, and right over your ankles. Good, so if you're forward like this, we're not going to influence anyone. We're not going to give everyone love or joy or all those things that create wellness, right? We have to have that posture of positivity, right? All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of a squat. So it can be as low as you feel comfortable. What I want you to do is cross your arms. Good, and imagine that you have a cup full of joy balancing on your arms, okay? Now don't let that cup of joy tip over, okay? So I want you to do a little bit of squat. I want you to squat down, but don't let that tip over. Because what those elbows and arms do for you is keep your posture nice and tall. Good, come on up. And if anyone wants to stand up and join us, you can definitely go ahead and do that. All right, cross those arms. Picture that cup of joy and that happiness and squat as low as you can, but don't let that cup of joy tip over. Good, and come back up. All right, let's do a mini one. Everyone do a little one. Awesome. So it doesn't matter your mobility, your ability, you can do a small one. That's still a little bit extra. Now see if you can go as low as you can go. Oh boy. All right, come on up. Awesome, awesome. Everyone just do what you feel safe. Awesome. All right, now let's come up on your toes and then go down into a squat. Oh, awesome. All right, have a seat. Right, oh, the other 2 that did exercise, the other 2 that let us do that exercise. Oh, sorry, the other 2s come back up. Sorry, I'm gonna give you, oh, sorry. The other 2, where are the other 2s? Oh. I'm gonna give you 3 more. Since you led everyone in such great exercises, you get to pass those, you get to pass those 3 actually to 2 other people. So you get to pass, you build strength within yourself, and I'm gonna let you pass it to 3 other people. Because that's what happens. Different,
We put it on now?
yeah, and then go ahead and add to our stack. Because of what you did with your health and wellness, you got the rest of the room moving. Okay. Awesome. So by passing it around, you've built connections. I think some people were saying that created their wellness. You got some physical wellness in it. I hope maybe you passed it on to someone you didn't know in the room, right? How about the 3s? Why don't you the 3s come up? Yeah, the number 3s. Because I'm teaching you a little bit about exercise, right? So now everyone knows the sunrise salute, how that does posture. We got a little bit of squatting in there, right? So the other thing you want to do is look at your balance, okay? So actually, if everyone in all the 3s get close to a wall, and everyone else that might want to try this, it's good to have something stable next to you that won't roll. But yeah, we have room over here too, or you have room there, that's fine too. So the wall can be behind you or the side of you, whatever feels comfortable, but it's there, you know where it's at in case you feel like you're losing your balance. Okay, now put your feet close together. And I want you to stand up nice and tall. Don't lean on the wall, but have the wall near you. Yeah, there you go. All right, now go ahead and close your eyes. Awesome. Everything's not too bad. Okay, open your eyes. Now go ahead and put one foot in front of the other, just like it's as if both your feet were on a line. If there's a line on the floor, even that might help. Ooh, even eyes open first. Let's see how that challenges your balance. Ooh.
See if you're gonna give me a DUI.
Yeah, I know. Now switch your feet. Because actually people might be a little bit more comfortable one way versus the other. So there's more than one way to do exercises. There's always variations. And just try and explore it yourself. If you feel confident, go ahead and close your eyes. What did some of you do? You put your hands out for stability, right? And that's what we do in our communities. We reach out for help. We try to get some stabilization from each other. We might need the wall a little bit. Awesome. All right, go ahead and relax. Now, we won't do this eyes closed. We'll just try it, standing on one foot. Awesome. And then now try the other foot. How many of you have done this before? It's not sometimes until, only a few of you actually, not everyone has tried it. It's not until you try it that you realize that you may feel that you are mobile and moving through this environment, but there are moments when you might be on one foot, right? And there might be moments when you're stepping side to side to get to the chair or the seat that you want to get to, and it might be difficult, right? So think about the whole picture. Balance is one of them. It does engage a lot of your posture along with it, so I want you to all think about your posture. So I'll let you guys all grab some blocks here and build to our community. So take 3 and build, and take 3 to give to your friends. So balance is one that I like to do with big groups of people. It is a little bit scary if people have different levels of balance, but it's very eye-opening to some people that their balance is not maybe as perfect as they thought, and they can look out for each other. I think naturally we're looking out for each other, right? Making sure nobody falls, and helping out with making sure we decrease our risk, right? So one other aspect of wellness that I want you to consider in your communities. I see people fixing things. Awesome. I see tables involving other tables, inviting them to build on our community. I think I'm mentioning a lot of things that people listed as their definition of wellness by doing this activity, I hope. And I see creativeness. Everyone knows the typical game of Jenga, and it's not always about who builds the tallest tower here, right? Awesome. Awesome, but there might be shaky things that happen in your communities, like our big events that have happened, not only the fires, but now also the rain as well, right? And so some of our communities might get shaken a little bit, right? Oh, they didn't do it. It's have leaning over, right? Yeah, but it falls over. But look, we still have the community, right? And so that's why I think it's really that's why all of you are so busy, because you already have the organization of the community that can come together. So these blocks haven't fallen all over the place, right? It may feel like that in some people's worlds, that the block it feels like everything has fallen, but it's still within the community. We still have everyone's building blocks. I don't have to go running all over the floor to help rebuild this. It's all within reach because of the communities that you all helped us build. And so that's why I really like the Jenga analogy, and I love that you went beyond the base. So if you are all leaders, it's beyond just you. You have other leaders within your community that are willing to build with you. And it wasn't very high. It didn't matter how high it was, how wide it was. They still can be unstable. I keep shaking it so they all fall, right? So I hope that influences the way you think, because I keep coming back to that analogy for myself. I've seen different versions of analogies for Jenga, but that was one of the ones that kind of resonated with me. Different kinds of bases in our community, we still built in different ways, and I hope it brings back to your first row of what wellness really means to you. So one of the myths I mentioned was that you are not exercise professionals, so why you may not feel confident describing exercise to your community. So I just taught a few, but I do encourage you to, I'm sure there's physical therapists in your communities that would love to come and help, and I am one of them. I am on the website for this community, and I'm in the books too. I just realized that I'm in one of the books that they created. And so I'm willing to connect you all with people, because I'm one of your new connections. So don't do it alone. Don't feel that you're doing it alone, because there are lots of people that can help you. Another myth in the literature that is created, that why faith leaders don't encourage physical wellness in their communities, is because they may feel like all the people are not able-bodied enough in their communities. And there may be people that in retirement maybe have more time and they may be more active, but there are still younger people amongst you. But the younger people, when given the task or the chore to help the older people that maybe can't move, that is very fulfilling, because I think that also creates connection. But you'd be amazed how mobile and how well you can keep people into 80, 90, 100 years old. So if your communities are more physically well into the older age, that will be more healthy for your communities. Okay, so that was one myth that was reported in our research. One is also that there's not enough time. There's so much that you're all trying to educate, right? Oh, I just don't have. One of the surveys that went out said that faith leaders feel like there's not enough time. But it can be done with things, right? So I'm going to pass out one more activity. And well, you can do it here or you can do it in your communities, but there's one activity on the front and one on the back. So one of them, though, is a bingo activity. And maybe you can all do this as we have little breaks throughout today. Find somebody who'll do 5 breaths with you and take that moment of peace and reflection. Next time at church, who will share a healthy recipe with you? Find someone, get their name, get their contact information, know when you're going to see them next. So if you don't feel like you have time, you can combine it with a lot of things that you're already doing. You're already trying to build connection. You're already trying to have a message that you're trying to give. Incorporate it with exercise. And if there's extras, go ahead and keep them. That's fine. One of them is, will you do a walk with me before the next moment of prayer, the next church event? Will you come 10 minutes early and come walking with me in the parking lot? So if you look on the back side, because I always want you guys to go home with something. On the back side, there's a heart rate targets. It teaches you how to use your heart rate as a driver for exercise. So there's a little equation there. That's the most updated version of how to find. Everyone has smartwatches now. I was just talking to someone's smartphone, right? On your smartwatches, it takes your heart rate, and it can help you determine if your walking is enough to induce cardiovascular health or not. First, just get walking, but then now we can start having even targets that might have enough challenge to make your heart a little bit more healthy and happy and stronger. So at least you got home with something, right? You got this. And I hope you have your reflections. All right, so I had you write what you just find wellness. You had your community. You all created building blocks today by doing exercises. I dispelled some of the myths by getting rid of those shaky blocks. And when there is a shaky blocks and there's something that we find unstable in our, I'm cheating because I'm trying to be quick. But if there was a shaky block in our Jenga, we take that out, that myth, and we dispel that myth and we put it right back on the top and we build to our structure. right? So that's another reason why I like this. And anytime, anything, we're in the rebuilding stage in Southern California. Even if you're not in the most heavily affected areas, you are going to be helpful in rebuilding these areas because we are all together in Los Angeles in this area. Even if you came from San Diego or from east from here, I heard all different cities here. I was born in Alaska, like Flori said. I moved to Hawaii, and I live here now. And I've been able to adapt to all these communities and try to make an impact wherever I am. And I'm sure that you all are doing the same. And so I hope that I made a good message today. Thank you very much.